couldn't have.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You bet. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. You're the only one with a hand up.
I
So.
didn't see anybody behind me.
Okay.
Martha Duchild, 9158 General Grant Lane. Tonight, I'd like to address my remarks first to the city administrator and then for the mayor. For the city administrator, in August 5th of 2009, there was a memo where you recommended cutting the animal control program as a budget savings. And there was an attachment from the Public Works Director which included the costs associated with keeping that program, and that included updating the shelter and getting replacement vehicle and a part-time ranger. And thanks to the contributions of the volunteers, the shelter has mostly been taken care of, but there is the car to consider and the part-time ranger. And those costs represented issues that needed to be addressed if the animal control program was to function properly. And so, other than the fact that the position was in the 2010 budget, were there any other considerations that you took before you decided to post that job?
No, the board went through a process.
Sorry.
The board went through a process, determined it wanted to maintain the local animal control service, and that requires a person. So no, that was all.
So okay. And did the mayor offer his opinion, or did you seek his advice prior to your decision to post the job?
No.
Okay. The reason I ask is that in posting the job, there's an implicit choice to continue the animal control program. And with it are the associated costs for the new vehicle, the part-time ranger, and other costs on down the line that the board's going to consider. And if the board chooses, due to budget constraints, not to fund those costs, then it falls on Friends of Animal Control to make up for the shortfall, which is basically depending on a charitable organization to fund a city program. And I don't really think it's fair to the city or to the program itself to either not fund it properly or fund it part way and depend on a charitable organization to make up for the shortfalls. But if the board does choose to fund the program properly, then there's opportunity costs that come with that decision. For every dollar that's spent on animal control, there's one less dollar to be spent for pool upkeep, which we're going to pay the pool off this year, so there's maintenance associated with that. There's $1 less for the rec center, and we just hired an activities director to come up with revenue-enhancing programs there. And there's $1 less for park maintenance, and we're budgeting $150,000 to build a new bridge into White Cliff Park. And the reason I bring these things up is that we've spent money on all these park services, but with the additional burden of an underfunded animal control program, you're missing out on opportunities to repair your parks, to make necessary repairs and have the funds to make repairs to the pool and to beautify your parks and to contribute money to the rec center to help that new hire fund some programs that will generate revenue for the city. And in the larger context, funding animal control will impact the city's ability to fund essential services such as police and fire and street repair. And I know nobody gets sentimental over a new ambulance or repaired potholes or mill and overlay, but nevertheless, they're essential services. I have pets, and I totally understand the emotional impact of losing animal control, but as it was put in the Post-Dispatch article today, having a local animal control service is a luxury, and a luxury that few municipalities, I think, including Crestwood, can afford. And I hope the board uses the animal control officer's retirement as an opportunity to revisit this issue and determine whether to keep and properly fund the animal control program. It's a tough decision, but I think it's one that needs to be made, and it's a decision that will be remembered next time the city needs to go to the voters for a tax increase. That was it for the city administrator and for the mayor, I know that you and the board have expressed how much you value the city's employees, as do the residents. And it's with this in mind that I ask if you share my concern that in the past 6 months, in an economy where job security is a premium, that's half the department heads have resigned in the past 6 months. Are you concerned about that?
No, I'm not concerned, because most of them have not resigned because the fact that they're putting their families first, and they're not going because we forced them out or anything. They're going because they're obtaining a better opportunity, or they think they are. So there has been no concern about people leaving.
Does it concern you at all that they were looking for work, that there might be any sort of morale issue in the city that might need to be looked into?
I don't think there's a morale issue. There's probably the biggest morale issue is the fact that due to the economy, we have not been able to provide raises as we would like to. I think it's been 2002 or 2003 since they've had a raise, and most certainly it's hard to keep people energized when your funds are limited. However, we are stable, and all we hear from people is they're so concerned about the animal control as it's going to change the world, and it's not. If we dissolve that, we will have more problems within the community than the costs that we absorb now. I just spent most of the day on the phone with people concerned about an animal control decision that was made in our courts. And the thing about it is, this city, it's not the people's fault, but over the years we've become a very friendly community, and the people have been given the opportunity to have at least 3 pets in their home. Some of them have gotten, before I ever came here, they were getting permits to have kennels and all the other things. In order to keep them from disturbing people who live next door, from the barking or to keeping the sanitary conditions in people's yards and all this, it took our court has been tied up with a few of those cases, and I think if we did not have our animal control, we'd be suffering a lot more than we are today, and we do what we do now just helps us have someone who can actually check those things out. And I don't agree with all the statements that have been made about the county providing the same service. They don't. And you can't get them to come because they're like us. They're shorthanded, and they do not come out when you call them. So they don't provide anything for us. And if our citizens have to put up with all these animals, not only people's pets, but we also have to put up with the animals that come across the fence at Grant's Farms does not keep those animals out. They come over and they visit the garbage cans, and they visit looking for coyotes looking for small dogs and cats and stuff. Yes, we've got a real problem here, and we do the best we can to protect those people, and we will have a lot more problems county-wise. I don't agree with the assessment that you people have been expounding on all along. It's a very. I was asked on KSDK yesterday morning, what percentage is this of your budget? I said, I don't even. It's so small I can't even say what it would do, and it's not going to save anybody's job. It's not going to save the city from bankruptcy. We were almost bankrupt, so we were not anymore. So I think we've done pretty good over the years. Okay. That's my statement to you on animal control.
Well, I didn't ask you about animal control, and that's why I was not. I was expecting that maybe that you would be concerned about half of your department heads leaving in the past 6 months.
I'm not concerned about that. If they were leaving because they were unhappy and that they weren't treated fairly, I'd be really concerned.
But how would you find that out unless you asked?
Well, most of them everybody that's left has come to me personally and said, how much they've enjoyed being with and working in this community, and they hated to leave. However, because of their families depend on them to bring home what I call bringing home the bacon. They looked at it as opportunities to be able to help their families, and I always encourage people to move on when they feel like they can better themselves. So I don't have a problem with it. I think it's just a normal rotation today. And the other thing is, you're probably right in one aspect. We ask our people to do so much. You keep asking for cutting, but the thing about it is, we've cut this city down to where if we do any more cutting, we won't be able to provide the services that we're required to do. And I refuse to do that.